Fake HOA cop broke into my shed without a warrant. Now he's facing criminal charges. You don't forget the sound of someone snapping a lock off your shed, especially when they're wearing a fake badge and acting like they own your property. My name's Elias Navarro, and I've lived in Cider Ridge for 7 years. I'm a woodworker, a dad. I served 4 years in the Navy, and I never imagined I'd be treated like a criminal in my own backyard. It started on a Tuesday morning, clear skies, tools humming in the distance. I was sorting reclaimed wood for a custom bench order when I heard metal hit concrete. I looked out the kitchen window and saw a man in cargo pants and a shiny HOA enforcement vest wrenching open the padlock to my shed. I sprinted outside. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I shouted. He turned like I'd interrupted a grocery run. "Routine inspection," he said calmly, as if this was normal. "We've had reports of code violations involving hazardous material." He didn't have a warrant. He didn't have ID. He didn't even ask permission. And he was halfway into my damn shed. Cider Ridge is one of those communities that looks peaceful until you scratch beneath the paint. Tree-lined streets, flagpoles on every porch, HOA newsletters that read more like command orders. I moved here after my divorce wanted a place quiet enough for my daughter and me to start fresh. I bought a fixer-upper at the end of Applejack Lane. No HOA fee, no interference, or so I thought. Apparently, the self-declared HOA safety division didn't care about boundaries. The man rummaging through my shed introduced himself as Officer Benton, said he was investigating a resident complaint about chemical smells. Never mind the fact I just treated some cedar slabs the day before outdoors. Legally, I told him to leave. He refused. He claimed his badge gave him authority, but all I saw was a plastic tag that read Neighborhood Enforcement Officer. When I tried to step into the shed to block his entry, he shoved me back hard. That's when I called the sheriff. Within 20 minutes, 2 deputies arrived. By then, Officer Benton had already pulled 3 containers from the shed and lined them up on my lawn like evidence in a crime drama. One was a sealed box of sandpaper. Another, a jug of boiled linseed oil. All legal, all safe, all mine. The deputies separated us. I showed them the broken lock, the shed door swinging open. My bruised shoulder. Benton showed them a crumpled piece of paper with fake letterhead claiming probable cause under community safety codes. But the real kicker, Cider Ridge doesn't have a registered HOA with any legal enforcement authority. The codes were made up. So was the position of safety officer. And Benton, just a neighbor with a control complex and a bunch of printed lanyards. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the moment he shoved me the violation, the presumption, the lack of accountability. He'd entered my property like he had the right, like I didn't. I spoke with my attorney the next day, and then the day after that, with a journalist friend who used to cover HOA corruption cases. He took one look at the footage my Ring camera caught and said, "You've got something big here." Turns out, Benton wasn't alone. He was part of a 3-person team of self-appointed HOA officers led by a woman named Karen Hastings. They'd been enforcing fake citations for months, unapproved inspections, driveway measurements, mailbox height audits, even photo surveillance. The targets were always the same: renters, veterans, immigrants, single mothers, people like me. Over the next few weeks, I connected with other residents. We formed a private online group to compare stories. And what we found was chilling. Mrs. Tomlinson, a 72-year-old widow, had paid $300 in fine waivers to avoid compliance litigation after they claimed her rose bushes were a fire hazard. A Nigerian family on Maple Run was told to repaint their house neutral or face a lien. A young gay couple had their pride flag removed and returned to their doorstep in a trash bag. These weren't misunderstandings. They were targeted. It was a pattern, and we weren't staying quiet anymore. With our testimonies and video proof in hand, we brought everything to the county board and the sheriff's office. Then we brought it to the media. When the local news aired the story showing the video of Benton breaking into my shed and the fake badges worn by Karen's crew, public fury exploded. Letters to the editor, open forums, a petition to investigate the HOA enforcement team reached 40,000 signatures in 2 days. Karen tried to play the neighborhood safety card, claimed she was protecting property values, but her voice cracked during the interview. Her arrogance shattered when residents began filing harassment complaints. In Benton, he was charged with trespassing, assault, and impersonating an officer. But we weren't done. We called for a full audit of Karen's so-called HOA. What we found: a private bank account collecting dues, forged signatures on community declarations, and even a bogus insurance policy to give the appearance of legitimacy. At a town hall meeting, we presented everything on a projector in front of the entire neighborhood. The crowd turned on them. Karen resigned the next morning. Benton lawyered up. The third member fled town, and Cider Ridge. It changed. We formed a real neighborhood committee, elected, accountable, diverse. No fake badges, no patrol golf carts, just honest volunteers working on sidewalk repairs, community gardens, and events that actually brought people together. I rebuilt my shed door with reinforced hinges, but more importantly, I rebuilt trust with my neighbors. Now, when I walk down Applejack Lane, people wave. They ask about my latest projects. They bring cookies to block parties, and nobody pretends to be a cop. I tell this story because power in the wrong hands doesn't always look like a weapon. Sometimes it's a lanyard, a clipboard, a smile with a threat behind it. But standing up together works, because the truth, the only thing worse than a fake authority, is when we let them keep pretending. THRN